We've got a brilliant presentation to kick things off from Sam Gaunt. Following client-side stints of the likes of GSK and Sky, he's just founded his own consultancy, and there's no one better really to give an overview of the current landscape than Sam. So please put your hands together and welcome Sam to the stage.
Thanks very much, Sam, and thank you for the introduction. Thanks everyone for joining today. So 10 minutes to give my perspective. It's not an awful lot of time, but actually 10 minutes should be about the right amount of time for a measurement debrief, I think. Often they can be very long and complex, very detailed, but we're moving towards a world where we can get much more meaningful insight and presented in such a way as to make it far more accessible to people as well. And this measurement insight is coming from a range of news sources. The industry is really evolving. And it's very exciting. And the reason I've started a media effectiveness consultancy is simply because there's never been a better time to be involved in this world. With the death of the cookie, it seems to have been the catalyst that we've all been waiting for to move people towards a more mature way of evaluating media effectiveness, and a way which I like to think is moving us towards a nirvana, a perfect place of measurement. Not the 90s grunge band. So, first of all, I mentioned simplicity and the importance of that. And I think the problem with measurement is because it's very detailed and it's often conducted by people who are, let's face it, they can be quite introvert. They're geniuses at what they do, data science, modeling experts. They can do regression-based analysis, statistical techniques. You know, it's the sort of stuff I could only dream about doing. But they are very much in the weeds, and I think often they kind of, after a 3-month project, are keen to kind of share everything that they've learned, and there can be so much insight to be shared. But not all of it is necessarily that pertinent or actionable. And so what we need to kind of do is move towards a place where you know, this insight is live, it's living and breathing thing. And with some of the changes happening in the marketplace, that's exactly where we are heading to. So I'm going to run through a few of those kind of big changes happening, those big kind of accelerants as we go along this journey towards Nirvana. But first of all, here's the 90s grunge band Nirvana. For all those who are disappointed, here they are. On the right-hand side, Krist Novoselic, he was the bassist. Kurt Cobain, rest his soul, he's the singer and guitarist. Dave Grohl, the drummer. The guy on the left, less well known, Danny Goldberg. He was the manager, and a really important part of any band, you know, well, most bands is going to be the manager. You know, the thing is, what he did, of course, he wasn't a member of the team, wasn't actually producing the music, but what he did do was able to direct that musical genius in the right direction, which was able to then you know, bring it to people, make it meaningful and relevant to people, and ultimately drive commercial success as well. And that's really the important thing as well to remember when it comes to measurement nirvana, the importance of that role. Because you know, with all this wonderful insight, all this wonderful work happening, it really does need to be directed in the right way. And so that's the 4th member of the measurement nirvana band. And these are the really key roles. In some places, these are separate teams. Sometimes they are individuals. Sometimes it could be one person. A small company might have a single person. Sometimes it sits at the agency. It doesn't really matter, but what you need to be aware of is that these roles exist, and it's important to make use of all of them. So you've got attribution, so you're getting that day-to-day insight, attributing sales, usually to digital media. You're using media metrics in order to understand the impact of the media which is going out day to day. But it is misleading. It does tend to favour the lower funnel. The classic example is search, which is harvesting a lot of the demand which is being driven often by brand media. And so this is really important then to bring the other members of the band into play as well. You've got testing. So testing is helping to drive that really kind of granular insight. It's using A versus B experiments. I think we're going to start to see an awful lot of these happening as a matter of course. You know, gone are the days where to try something out, you need to do a whole campaign on it and see how that whole campaign, with all the potential for waste that involves. Things that can be tested in a much smaller scale, both in platform or in geographic regions as well. and it can be very simple to do. But it's a really important thing to do because both attribution and MMM have inherent weaknesses alongside their wonderful strengths, which means that testing is really important to do alongside. So, MMM, it's absolutely fantastic. The level of insight that it can drive, and particularly in this world now where we're getting rid of third-party cookies, the importance of that regression-based modelling technique is all the more important to really properly understand the impacts of all media, and understand it in a far better way than without it. And also all non-marketing factors as well. This isn't just about media and marketing we're talking about. In order to understand that, you also need to understand the impacts of price, distribution, competitor, and all the rest of it, which is what makes this such a powerful tool. And then bringing all this together is that manager. So coordinating stakeholders, coming up with hypotheses, and coordinating hypotheses, because this is the wonderful thing about this kind of measurement nirvana, right? Is it doesn't sit in a silo somewhere. This is a living, breathing part of an organisation, of a brand. And those hypotheses, those ideas can come from anywhere. And they can all be tested, they can all be understood by organising measurement in the right kind of way. So coming up with that measurement roadmap, understanding what we want to find out, how we're going to find out about it, and then scaling those insights as well. And really kind of bringing them all together as well. So that's really important, that part of that role is these specialists aren't naturally going to talk to each other necessarily. They're not going to kind of work together. They're all very, very passionate about what they do, and rightly so. But they do need coordinating as well. So MMM, it can be seen as a little bit slow, a little bit cumbersome, quite broad brush strokes. You're not getting to that level of granular insight which you can get with testing if you want to look at second lengths, or you want to try a new creative proposition and you want to find out the results pretty quickly. You need to kind of roll that out pretty quickly. You need to use that alongside MMM. Attribution, for all those kind of potential, it is very fast, but it can be a little bit misleading. So which is where we need MMM to help to adjust those results as well. So this all comes together. There's a few things. I'm just going to very quickly rattle through some of the accelerants which are propelling us along this path towards measurement nirvana. First is the end of the third-party cookies. Long awaited. Can't wait to get rid of them. They're misleading for so many reasons. Once we've got rid of those and we've got this new approach to properly understanding media performance, we'll be in a much better place. Greater ownership of insight. Gone are the days where you have someone coming in from an agency, leaving you with a PDF and kind of disappearing for another year. Now, this insight lives within the organisation, not only by brands bringing in the expertise, but also by third-party analytics agencies. They all want to make their insights as user-friendly as possible. So, they're working with people at brands for training, even kind of platforms as well, which can be interrogated by people at the brand to help to kind of get to that insight as well. Because that's a real way of kind of testing hypotheses, coming up with new ideas. Getting better at kind of the data. Data collection's always been the biggest problem, particularly for MMM. Media data can be very clunky, still coming, Excel spreadsheets being fired backwards and forwards on email. Through the use of AI, my prediction is that AI, the first big test of AI is going to become with cleaning data, which can take weeks and weeks of cleansing data for analysis. That's going to become much easier and faster, and cloud-based media data platforms as well. So all that media data by media agencies being uploaded, ready to be used by the analysts as well. So this is all happening now. More meaningful optimization, this would be driving far greater efficiencies, big opportunities here. And all these ways of driving greater efficiency in your spend should be measured and tracked, and it should be seen within ROI as well. ROIs will be improved as a result of this. Lots of different partners. So this is the complex bit, but this is also the exciting bit. We just heard around the future of media, so many new opportunities. These need to be tested. You can't just kind of a leap of faith and assume it's going to work wonders for your brand. You're going to test things properly, and all these different areas, so many different opportunities to bring it all together. And it's happening now. So that's the final big accelerant here I'm going to talk about, is brands are doing this now. Brands are setting up teams for testing, They're kind of looking at a cookieless future. They're coming up with cookieless targeting solutions. They're bringing in MMMs. They're making it all work well together and gaining competitive advantage from doing it. So that's it from me. I did promise 10 minutes. I think it was around about 10 minutes. But please do link in with me, and I'm very happy to continue the conversation afterwards. Thank you. Thank you.